Welcome to this OptimizePress Clubhouse update, and in today's video we're looking at a new template called Ride. Now here it is on the screen. We've got this lovely header, this dark heading background with a white font on top there, so it's bold text, it stands out easily on the background image behind it. Now this template has a few different things inside, a lot of CSS, custom CSS, and it also has a fixed navigation. I'll show you that in a moment just as I scroll. So you see the background here is fixed. We've got this headline which stands out. Below that we've got the two call to action buttons. Now the first one we click on opens up the overlay optimizer. Inside that we've got the borderless video. You can see there it'll play and it'll show any content you want to use for your product, your service. And then this button here is just a simple call to action button which you could click through to an order page or even another opt-in form, or you could open up an overlay optimizer again. Now that's your choice. So as we go on down, as I scroll, you'll notice this top section is fixed. It'll change color as well. So as you can see there, it changes to the white navigation as I scroll, and that stays in place all the way down the page. So I'll show you a bit about that in a second, just where that CSS is and how we fix this navigation. So let's go further down. Below here we've got these icons or the logos. We've used this as a featured in section. These are simple graphics that we've put in place there. Slightly different background color as well, so it stands out for the images. And if you get these logos yourself, you might want to change them to make sure they're a different color and if it matches this template. You can see here we've got this headline section with this colored line underneath, using a featured box for that line. I'll show you that in the live editor. And then we drop down into this benefits section using all these little custom icons that we've built for this template. So it works with that color combination as well. So if you use this template, keep this greeny turquoise color because it matches all the icons that we've used. So it's a nice clean section here, lovely little graphics to represent different parts of your business, your product that you're using, so you can find things that match these icons in your text. Then we go on down to this section where we've used the same turquoisey line, but this time we're using it with an image and some headline and text. Now this part flows. We've got the image on the left with the text on the right. As we go down, the image now goes over to the right hand side with the headline and the text on the left. As we keep going down, we've switched it again back to the other side. We've got the image on the left hand side with our text on the right. And then as we go down again, the eye flows. So it's taking the eye focal point from the left to the right, left to the right as you go down the page, keeping that attention focus for someone who's scrolling through this template. And again, we've got this blue line we've used all the way, so keeping that consistency into the design. Then we drop down into this section, slightly different now. We've got the headline at the top with a line underneath, and then a short line of text here. Then we drop down into these text sections. Now these are all custom featured boxes with an image, and you'll notice underneath we have this show full description. Now I'm going to show you that in the live editor how we've added this, but if I click on it, it will show the full description for the text here. You can see there we go, we've made the first one quite long, so you can see it expands quite a lot of text, and then you can see more of the text in the other three boxes. This is done with some custom CSS where it showed the little fade before it. I'll show you that in the live editor. Let's go on down to the next section. You'll notice that the nav bar is still fixed at the top. We've still got that in place. Then we go down into this section with another benefit section here with again more custom icons using that same turquoisey color. So you can use these however you like, find text that maybe matches these icons, or you could obviously get your own icon pack, switch them out and change the colors if you want to, or change the color of the template with this turquoisey color. So there's a nice section there, good point or a good area to highlight some benefits. Now we're dropping down into our testimonials, chance to get the social proof in here, and you'll notice that our testimonial box is using that similar curved box as the description boxes above. So we've got a nice little curved boxes, and we've got these quote marks inside the text as well. Now these quote marks are images that have just been added in. I'm going to show you that in the live editor, how we overlay them and get them to sit behind the text. So it's a lovely little testimonial section. Then we drop down into the last bit, this last call to action again at the bottom with a darker color, blue line again, nice font that stands out with our social icons as well on the top. Now these social icons are actually all just put in through a text element, and they're put in as images inside the text block. And we'll take a look at that as well inside the live editor. So lovely template, lots of custom CSS on here to make it look a bit different to all the other ones, lots of custom icons as well, so it's a very nice template. You can of course switch the color out, you'd have to change the icons if you choose to do that. So let's jump inside the live editor. Okay, now we're inside the live editor here. First we're looking at the fixed navigation at the top. Now you notice inside the live editor when I scroll it's still in play, it's still there fixed at the top here. Now it's a same top navigation as you would normally do. So I've got header navigation here and I've chose the navigation bar alongside logo. So I've just been playing around switching that there and you can see it's changed. I've got a different navigation at the top now. So it's added the same way, but it has some custom CSS in the page settings under other scripts. Now, I don't recommend you playing around with any of this CSS, just leaving the CSS and the scripts that you can see here in place. Okay, so don't play around with any of those. So that's the CSS and the JavaScript that makes that navigation sit in place. Now let's look at the boxes I want to show you here. Here's the featured box line again. That's just the featured box with that set color and it's got the set width on it. Now let's go down to these description boxes. So we've got these description boxes here. Now each box, if you click on the cogwheel, it has some CSS here which is set in the rounded post border on it. And then if we go inside and click on the pencil icon, and then we go down to this text block here, and you can see where it's still faded because it's showing the CSS. If we click on the cogwheel here, here's the CSS that's doing the fading and the show and hide part of this text. So when you click on the show full description, it shows the rest of the text. Now all the text is inside the text block. So you can see it all in here. So you could write more text if you wanted to, or you could, remove some of it. Leave the show full description. If you switch it over to text, you can see here, this is the CSS, which is what making the fade work and also making the full description where it expands the text below it. So you need to leave that in if you're using this template. But there's the text there. You can obviously edit that text, and that's the same for all of these all the way across here. If you open up the featured box and then you edit this, you can add more text. You want to start adding it here or here. Just make sure you leave the full description at the bottom, so you could add more text here and keep adding text throughout this text block if you wanted to have bigger descriptions. Okay, and you click update and it'll load. Okay, so that's the first bit. Let's scroll on down, take a look at testimonials. Now you notice these testimonials, we've got the graphic behind and how it sits up. On this example, when you're looking in the live editor, it doesn't show. If I edit and then edit the image has a minus bottom padding, which means it sits it below that text, or it overlays. It looks like it's overlaying the text or underlaying the text where it's sitting behind it. And this is an image here. You can see if I hover this image and then click on it, it's got a minus top margin here. You've got the minus 35 margin, which is making this bottom image just tucked nicely under that text there. So that's how that's done. Okay, so you can tweak them if you want them to be, further or less distance apart. Obviously, you can change that text with your own text. And then let's go down to the social icons. You can see here, if I edit them, we've got the text block here, and they are just images that have been put in with a space between them, and then you can link these up then to your social accounts if you want to do, or you could switch these out with your own social icons. The custom CSS for this template is in page settings. Again, custom CSS. You probably want to know what you're doing with CSS before you play around with that. You don't want to affect anything with the scrolling, navigation, etc. Okay, so lots of CSS in this one, lots of custom CSS, and also the custom navigation for the the fixed scrolling navigation bar. So that's it. It's available in the Clubhouse. It's obviously quite a complex template, this one. We've done a lot of work to it, but it's available for download. If you do use it, we'd love to see if you tweak it or change it. As always, drop us an email or reach out to us on social media so we can see your sites in action and how you're using them. So thanks for listening to this video. It's a bit of a long one this time, but I hope you can see some of the tweaks that you can do with these templates once you start playing with the CSS.